This video may contain spoilers from Honkai Impact the Third and Genshin Impact Inazuma Archon Quest.
攻撃は終わり。それなら私の番で文句ある。死ね。キアナ、あんたが目を覚ました時全てが変わっている。世界はもう美しくない。平凡な日常ももうない。でも諦めないで。何があっても諦めないで。調子に乗るな。少佐
姫子、私は最強のバルキリーになるの。
キアナ、顔を上げなさい。あんたは前に進むのよ。この不完全な物語をあんたの望む姿に変えなさい。生きなさい、キアナ。これで授業はおしまいよ。
Just by looking at this cutscene, what do you feel? Maybe a bit sad, or maybe you feel amazed. So, this was a part of the final lesson animated cutscene from Honkai Impact the Third. Honkai Impact is the predecessor of Genshin Impact. On that exact video I just showed you, a lot of Honkai players cried, and some even stopped playing the game for a while. And if you are not familiar with the story of Honkai, you may ask why. You may think, oh, it's cool, epic animations, like an anime fight scene. But that's because you are unaware of the backstory of this character who died. If you ask a Honkai Impact fan about this moment, it's like reminding them of a parted away family member. Let me give you a small briefing of what happened. Since I am not a Honkai player myself, I cannot get into too much detail. But let's see. If you already know the story, you can skip to the timestamp here. 3 girls who are training to become Valkyries to protect the world from Honkai are learning in Saint Freya Academy. One of these girls is Kiana, and she is kind of the poster child of Honkai Impact. All the 3 girls kinda came from messed up past But let's not get out of track. Anyway, these three girls have a teacher named Himeko. All of them lived in the same dorm in the same campus. They were like family and always there for each other. But one day, Boronia, one of the girls, get mind controlled and kidnaps May, the other girl. Kiana goes to save these girls and a lot of things happens and now Boronia is in a coma. Now the principal has to find a cure for her by going into a sealed area in the school. Kiana follows her and gets transported into a simulation of the past, where her mother died. But the alter ego within her twisted the simulation and made Kiana give in to her alter ego. Then she gets kidnapped and the Hersher within Kiana awakens from something this guy did and makes hell on earth. To save Kiana, her teacher Himeko went through a lot of hurdles and even got this super cool suit. Rest is what you saw. I know, how I explained this didn't make any difference. But if you have played the game or had second-hand experience through a streamer like me, you know how MiHoYo developed these characters until the end. They make the character relatable and make you emotionally bonded to the character before breaking your heart. And I can see how hard of an emotional impact this had on the players. But now for the grand question. Will Genshin also have impactful moments like this in the future, like Honkai? For that question, the answer is yes and no at the same time. I am not an expert on psychology or human emotions. I am just sharing theories from the perspective of an average player. And if you are an expert in these fields, please feel free to share your insight. You see, although the two games are made by the same company, from what I know, the writers are different, and even how the story is driven is different from each other. In the story of Honkai, us, the captain is barely important to the progression of the story. We are just a third party watching from outside, like watching a movie. But in Genshin, it's not the case. We are the main character. We are Lumin or Ether. When we first started the game, we have the option to name ourselves in whatever the name we like. We become one of the twins, and we see the game through the eyes of the main character, and anything that happens out of our vision is mostly invisible to us. So, as you can see in Honkai, we invest in the main characters and their roles in the story. But in Genshin, we are a part of the game and we invest ourselves in the game while we are playing through the story. In Honkai, since we are watching the lives of the characters in their perspective, when something happens to these characters in the close circle to the main cast, the emotional impact the characters feel is directed toward us as the players. And we also feel the sadness or any other mood the main characters are feeling at the moment. Like when Himeko died, that impacted and changed a lot of characters' lives for good or bad. And that change and the strong emotion get redirected at us, who is investing a lot of time in these individual characters in different scenarios. MiHoYo plays with the heads of the players in a very interesting way. In one stage, we are playing as the main characters and get us invested in that side of the spectrum. And in the next stage, we are playing as the bad guy and shows how they feel and how they think. By doing this, the player gets the pressure of the situation and get the mindset on how different parties act in a life and death situation. This build-up makes the player think that they are also a close person to who's going to die. And when that fateful time comes, they destroy the player completely with the hard-hitting truth of death. But in Genshin, there are only few characters who we, the main character, keep close contacts with. Once we arrive at a new region, the past region is in the past according to the story as well as the characters. You may think we go back and forth for different events, but that's not related to the main plot. Only the Archon quest and very few quests are directly impacting the main character. One example is the Unreconciled Star quest, but when the event is gone, the quest is also gone, it's hard to say it's directly related to the main story. Maybe that was an oversight on MiHoYo's part, but I can't blame them since that was their proper first event. As I said before, since the main character does not make any hard and solid relationship with other characters, how the player base thinks about certain characters may vary. Like, some like Ganyu and some don't. So, in this case, if for example Ganyu dies in the story, it will shake the fandom, surely, but it will not affect as much as when Himeko died. Some may cry and some may not even care and just keep playing. Death is not a new thing for Genshin since we will be reunited quest, but few important characters who have red flags according to the fandom are Albedo, Child, and most recently Kazuha. If MiHoYo is going to put Kazuha or any other character to rest, making a scene in the fandom, they should first hype up the character and strengthen the relationship between the MC. But doing that out of the bloom will feel out of the ordinary for players and they will catch up to the red flag fast. The easiest character for the game to drop at this point would be Kazuha since the new quest will focus a bit on him. But will the main character really care too much about it in the long run, like Himeko? Our MC, or us, is mostly focused on finding the unknown goddess and reuniting with our twin. Therefore, only people that has the potential of impacting the whole fandom in general are our twin and Paimon. While watching the fight with Raiden in Chapter 2 Act 2 quest, Paimon's reaction when we were knocked out was genuinely terrifying. Her panicked emotion hit me more than anything that happened in that whole cutscene. But Paimono, our twin, disappearing from the story will probably not happen anytime soon, since Paimon is one talking most of the time and our twin is our final destination. In making an impactful story, it's not always about death and sadness. There are more emotions to a human, and there are some masterpieces that make an impact with those emotions. Or maybe MiHoYo is experimenting on this same emotion but in a different storytelling perspective. For example, we got Raiden's teaser trailer, which hits harder on that depression note. We should always remember that Genshin is not related to Honkai directly in the main story perspective, although it might be in lore or world beating wise. Genshin Raiden team will make some epic and emotional impactful moments in Genshin too. We just have to be patient and see what direction they will take us in. Thank you for watching. Check out my other Genshin theory videos, and if you like them, please consider subscribing. I'm Akamin, and until next time, stay safe and look after each other.